Okay, so when coming up with your transitions and you're coming up with your minor setups and pieces of gameplay, avoid using literal lock and key setups. All right, avoid just using a key for the player to pick up, right, as depicted in the image. All right, so why not? You're probably wondering, I pick up the blue key all the time, I open up the blue door. How come he's not going to let me do that in my level? All right, the reason why is one, it's difficult to find. All right, so we know Scraps is a modern, slash realistic setting. For the most part, we want to keep it in that, believable realm. And in that case, keys would have to be very small, very tiny, very realistic in size, leaving them difficult for the player to find. All right. Also, it's been done before, right? I'm sure you remember doing it. I'm sure you have some memories doing it. I sure do. But it's been done so many times before. Let's try to come up with something more metaphorical, something more immersive, so it will still function the same way as a lock and key, right? Find this item, interact, and do something over here. It will still work the same way, but not literally be a key. And also, it's an everyday task, right? I lose my keys all the time. Not a fun thing to do, especially when you're already behind, right? So don't give us a task that we have to already do in everyday life, right? Give us something, give the user something that they can't do every day. Use explosives to blow a hole in the wall, or drive a truck, into a pool, or something different, something bizarre. Using different things rather than just a key. All right. So, for example, right, some more metaphorical alternatives. Something you might be thinking, okay, I can't do keys, so how about crowbars and key cards? Hmm. So maybe a key card. I find the blue key card and put it in the blue key card slot. So it's on the right direction, right? But same thing with a crowbar, right? I pick up the crowbar and now all doors are unlocked. So there's one interaction. It's the master key. So these might be the first things that your mind goes to, the first examples that you think of, and that's okay, right? It's a very common train of thought. If you remember from the John Cleese video, either from BFG or included in ILA 6, he mentions in there about he was not the most creative of his co-workers that worked on Mighty Python, but he stuck with an idea long enough. He didn't settle on the first idea he came up with. He allowed himself to come up with multiple ideas and iterate on the design, iterate on the jokes until he found the best ones. So some alternatives, right? Some really, really good examples that I'd like to see this type of creativity or this type of interaction. Here we got like a stick of dynamite, right? Say we could take it even a step further. The player needs to go and find the stick of dynamite, a roll of duct tape, and maybe an alarm clock. And they go and interact and tie them all together. And then they pick the dynamite with the grab null and place it in front of a wall, right? And then this timer starts ticking down and it explodes. Debris flies everywhere. You have a sound effect that's really cool. You got rigid body pieces flying at you. And then the dust settles and the player walks through, right? Much cooler than just a key. So try to add something that has that level of interactivity or player communication and just polish, right? It allows for some great opportunities. Another awesome example, and this is definitely the type of things you can do in Scraps, and we are making a game after all, is here's a great example of like a body part, right, or a head. So this was one of a student examples from a while back now, and I remember it to this day. His level was all about a scientist's lab, right? You had to go into this research facility, find these Grabnull ability things that they were working on and researching in this lab, and you find this dead scientist. You need to pick up his head with the Gravnull, carry it over to a retina scanner to then get into his lab. So it works just like a key, right? Pick up the item, and interact somewhere else, and it opens. So whether it's a key or a stick of dynamite or a head or a hand or anything else funny, creative, serious, whatever emotion you want to portray onto the player, you can use these types of metaphorical keys to create those emotions.